All right, so very, very good evening, guys. And in today's Facebook Live, what I'm going to discuss with you is answering a very important question. Although there are a lot of questions that are coming up, I'm just picking some of the most important questions and trying to answer them in detail so that you can make a decision and you can be aware about how do you go ahead and handle those questions that you have. So, very interesting question is asked by someone today, and I don't know whether it's he or she because the name was not mentioned, but the question was, how do I start a home-based business? Okay. And I think today is the era when you go ahead and start a home-based business. Earlier, if you remember, we used to have our mothers or grandmothers trying to do some home-based business, like making some papads or making some pickle, doing some home stitching business and, giving to people. But today, the advantage is you can grow $1 million business sitting at home. So number one, what is a home-based business? Let me address that first for you. If you ask me, what is a home-based business? According to me, any business that you can sit at home and at the comfort of not traveling outside, not having to fight the traffic. If you can sit back home, spend some time with the family, spend some time on your business, like how I do. This is actually one of my bedroom converted into my office. Okay. And if you can make some real good money, you will be very, very happy. So I think the era of home-based business is started now. Number one. Number two is the biggest advantage you have today in your home-based business is that you don't need, really to, set up huge infrastructure. All you require is a good laptop, is a fast internet, okay, and you're set. So why should you set it up? Why should you go ahead and set up a home-based business? My answer is very simple. I have lived Indian corporate life for almost like 10 years. And I can tell you in the beginning of your, corporate life, it sounds really nice. It sounds like, wow, I have office, my office is in this IT park. The freshers keep saying, oh, you know what, where my office is in this IT park. I have so many things there. But the whole idea after a couple of years or even after 5 years, you realize that life actually is pathetic. Fighting the traffic. See, there was a time where I used to stay very close to Mogapur, okay, in Mogapur, and my office used to be in OMR. And it used to take me about 2 hours in the morning, or at least 1.5 hours in the morning to go to the office, and about 2.5 hours, sometimes even 3 hours to come back home. And by the time I come back home, I'm so tired that I don't have energy to do anything else. And then after that, I used to have my quick nap, wake up, have my dinner, and then I used to sit on my daily report. Just imagine if you have your home office, and even if you can just make half the money of what you're making, by the way, you'll start making double the money. But even if you're making half the money, what bad is it? You don't need a car, you don't need a bike, don't have to worry about the traffic, whether it rains, whether it's sunny, you don't have to worry about anything. So I think that is the reason why you should have a home-based business. And I can speak about advantages of home-based business for hours together, days together. I think the era is back. So let's go ahead and take the advantage of this era. Number three is the most important question. And the question is, how do I get started with my home-based business? And this is a very interesting question. Now, there are a lot of ways of starting a home-based business. In fact, I have one of my knowledge partners, one of my students, who is helping a lot of people to start small home-based business about products. Like, for example, if you want to come up with a mixture making project, or if you want to come up with some bags making project, or if you want to come up with some kind of product oriented project, I can put you across to her and she can guide you. But being in the training industry, I have understood the potential of training. And I am today going to speak to you about how I want to go ahead and do a home-based business, keeping training as a platform. Okay, ready for it? Let's get started. The first thing you got to understand, or the first thing I want you to work with is I want you to develop a mindset of an entrepreneur who can sit back home and still make a lot of money. Because the first thing is the mindset. When I talk to people about tools that they need to invest, they say, Faheem, you told me, home-based business doesn't take much money, so why should I spend on tools? I never told you that you should not spend on tools. Now, when I say tools, what does it mean? As you're expanding your business, there are two things. And I want you to understand this concept before even moving into how do you develop your home-based business. There are two concepts. Number one, you got to take about some time, say about 20 days to 30 days to set up your business. Okay. And then once your business is ready, once your tools are ready, once your system is ready, you are actually going to work on your business. And that is why a lot of successful trainerpreneurs, like, for example, like me, I don't have to spend 10 hours, 12 hours a day. I only have to spend about 3-4 hours a day. In fact, the guys who taught me this, they spend 4 hours a week because they have automated everything. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody is interested in buying a service from you. That person clicks on your website. The website automatically talks to a email campaigning or email tool. The email tool immediately sends the quotation automatically to that person, and he selects the the quote and he makes the payment. Even that is automated. And once he makes the payment, you get the SMS saying money is credited in your account. This is called automation. Versus you have to manually check the mail, how many people have registered for it. Then you have to manually send them an email, manually follow it up, and then call them up, and they'll say, how do I deposit the money? And then you give your bank account information to them. 2, 3, 4 days you lose. So that's why you should automate. Okay. So why am I telling you all this? Is because I want you to have the mindset of a trainerpreneur, a mindset of an entrepreneur. Okay. Who spends less on time, more on tools. So the more you spend on tools, the less you have to spend time on your business. You agree on that? Okay. So that's the mindset part. Now, once the mindset is ready, I want you to go ahead and specializely look at one area that you can go ahead and start your business. Now, here is somewhere I want to take a break and tell you what, how many people or what kind of different people can start their business. Let me take an example of a homemaker first. I love homemakers and I have a lot of respect for them, is because they do a lot of homework. They take care of the family, they take care of the house, they take care of the children, they make sure that food is served on time, they make sure that the clothes are properly, kept. Apart from that, they still would like to go ahead and help the family, support the family by, contributing some financial, support as well. Right? So I have a lot of respect for them. Now, what can they do? Now, imagine that you are a homemaker and you have learned certain recipes from your mother or from your grandmother. And there are a lot of people who are looking for that recipe. Do you know that keeping that one skill of how to make authentic or healthy food, you can make a lot of money? Let me take that as an example. And as we are moving forward in this process of setting up business, I will tell you how you do it. This is case number one. I'll give you case number two of a student. Let's say you're a student and there are two type of student. No, one is the street smart, one is the book smart. Okay. So assume you're a book smart student and you can train other people, you can teach other people certain techniques through which they can score better marks. There are a lot of students, by the way, like me, who, if you can teach me how to get 40 marks when I was in college, I would be extremely thankful to you. I am not a 90 mark student. For me, during my college, during my school, what mattered was, will I pass? Because it was more like pass karna hai yaar. Okay. So if you're a student like that, you can use that, you can convert that as your service and you can give it. If you're a street smart student, then you can go ahead and do what Sai Kiran is doing. Sai Kiran is one of my knowledge partners, one of my members in my community, who's learning from me on how do you convert passion into a training program. Now, what does Sai Kiran do? He's coming up with a very simple service that every student in the college wants. Okay, I will not disclose what that is because he's still in making, and I would interview Sai Kiran one day and he will tell you what that is. But that's an amazing project that he started. I'm sure that he'll be able to make about 50,000 a lakh rupee a month easily with that. Okay, so that's about students. Now let's say you are a professional. I'm just taking some example, guys. I know one of it might be you. Okay, so let's say you're a professional. You have worked for last 10 years. So you might be having certain skills you knew which is required by the market, and it is your responsibility to go ahead and help people. Like, for example, you might be in sales and you might not be doing great in sales, but you might have a great understanding about sales. You might be a great ops manager. You might be a great, HR. You might be a great support manager, whatever you are. Over a period of time, God has definitely helped you with certain skills that are tradable, that are required by the market. So this is, in other words, called as niche finding. Okay. So once you do the exercise of finding this, there are tools to find this out. There are tools to find out which is your perfect niche. So once you find out, then you move to the next step, which is called as your IPPP. Now, what is this? This is a 3P formula that I share with people. I'll share it with you. In this formula, you're going to go ahead and make a product. See, understand one thing, and this is a golden statement I want you to understand and remember. Ideas never get you money. Products or services are the ones which get you money. So very simple, guys. Go ahead and convert your idea into a product, package it well, and position it in the market. Now, how do you take all the ideas that you have in your mind, choose one or two, make that as a product, package that with the right pricing, with the right, whatever, external packing with some decoration so that people know, and then finally position it in the market. As you know, for example, I tell positioning like this, your product is something that is of low value for a lot of people, low value for low amount of people, high value for less people. So there are a lot of positioning ways you can do it. So go ahead and position it well, because once this is ready, you know where you're heading. Okay. And then we move ahead and do something called personal branding. Now, this is what is very, very critical for you. And I want you to listen to this. A lot of times we underestimate this word of personal branding. Okay. And if you're sitting at home, like how I'm sitting right now and doing a lot of business, then you've got to be very strong with personal branding. I will, because this is a live session, I cannot be pulling this for hours together. Let me quickly tell you just two things about it. One, you got to have your head office. And one is you got to have your virtual showrooms. What is your head office is your website. What are your showrooms is your social media accounts where you're going to help people get it. Okay. Because believe me, when I say this, out of 100% of the people you have, there are about 10 to 15% of the people in your community who are looking for the service that you are offering. A lot of times, because you have not personal branded yourself, a lot of times you're not able to go ahead and connect with those people. So you've got to go ahead and do personal branding. And then comes a little effort of marketing, and this is where your lead generation comes into picture. Listen to this carefully. What is lead generation? Leads are people who are basically interested in your product. Okay, there are tools to do that, and that's why I keep saying automate, tools. See, look, there is no harm in spending 25,000 rupees a month if that tools can help you to make 1 lakh rupee. Okay, if I'm spending 20,000 rupees on my tools plus another 30,000 rupees on my Facebook ads, and end of the day I'm making about 2 to 2.5 lakhs through that. What bad is it? What bad is it? Okay, so in the upcoming Facebook lives, I will go ahead and tell you on how these tools work, how do you set it up, but I want you to really comment on this. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this on Facebook Live or wherever, LinkedIn, I want you to go ahead and comment and connect with me, because when I read your comments, it gives me the energy to go ahead and serve you better. Okay, so that is where you go ahead and do marketing for lead generation. And then it's very easy to do sales if all this is ready. A lot of people say, no, sales is difficult. Sales is difficult. Sales is difficult basically because you're trying to pull out a rabbit out of a hat without any effort. That's called magic. And in real life, it doesn't happen that way. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and, form all this. Your sales will automatically happen. In the sense, the sales procedure becomes very easy. Okay. And from there, you get into implementation, which I told you already, you've got to keep it automated. The more automated you keep, the more easy it is. And once you set all this and you learn how to run your business, especially for homemakers, spending about 2 to 3 hours a day in front of your laptop, you can make good amount of money. The amount of money that probably your job also cannot give you, you can make that money sitting at home. And whether you're a student, whether you're a homemaker, whether you are a professional, anybody of you who are listening to this, and if this makes sense to you, I want you to go ahead and comment and connect with me. And I am on a mission to help people like you who would like to live a quality life of freedom, to go ahead and establish yourself. Okay, so I hope this was helpful to you. So in today's live, we covered what is a home-based business, why is it important, why do I call it as the era of home-based businesses, and at the end, how do you go ahead and set up this. Now, in this regards, I also keep doing a lot of detailed programs, like 3-day detailed program. You can go ahead and purchase the program if you're interested, and that is basically the money that comes out of that program. Majority of that is given to the society as a help. So go ahead, get, inquire about the program, and I'm sure you'll like it. You'll learn a lot about it. The first question I want to leave you with is, before us, like our fathers, our grandfathers, and before us, they never had an option of like this, that they can sit back home and make a lot of money and enjoy the life and be with the family and concentrate on health and have a complete package. Okay, why do you want to do it? At the end, I just want to share one joke with you. Okay, and this joke will give you some food for thought. Ready for it? So there was this little girl who was watching her mother make fish on the pan. Okay, like full fish. So she noticed that her mother had cut the head and the tail of the fish. So she asked her mother, why have you cut the head and the tail of the fish? So the mother thought for a moment and said, I don't know. I saw my mother cutting the head and the tail of the fish. So that's why I also did it. So she went to the grandmother and she said, Grandmom, why did you why did you teach my mother to cut the head and the tail of the fish before frying it? So the grandmom thought for a moment and said, I don't know. My mother taught it, and that's why I do it. So she called up her great grandmother and she asked, great grandmother, why do you cut off the head and the tail of the fish? She said, during our times, beta, during olden times, the tawa, the pan used to be small. So the entire fish was never used to come inside the pan. And that's why I used to cut off the head and the tail. But today, I think the pans are big enough so they can fry the entire fish. What do we learn from this? We learn that there was a time in the human era when, a man was had to find a job with a lot of difficulty and then go ahead and invest his 40 years of his life just to meet the ends meet. Today, the pan is big. Today, the opportunity is big. Why are you still cutting your head and the tail of your fish? Fry the entire fish, get the package of your life, and live a very healthy life. I'll catch up with you in the next Facebook Live, which is tomorrow. If you have any questions, you have the link. Go ahead, shoot your questions there, and get in touch with me for any help you need. I'm here to help you out, guys. I wish you a life of freedom, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.